Hey y'all, this is Sarah, and I am playing with some scraps today. I need to get a lot of these used up before I dive any further into my Christmas crafts, or I'm gonna drown in these things. So I wanted to sit here and play. This is just kind of a spur of the moment creative time for me, and thought I would see if you guys wanted to hang out with me and maybe get some use out of some of your scraps. Fair warning, these are on the cutesy level. But I do sometimes like cutesy. I'm not going to lie. I do kind of fall for the cutesy. But it's a cute way to use up these scraps. They're really lightweight. You could put this on any size tree and it's going to be able to hold that. This little one that I've already played with is 5 inches wide and it weighs nearly next to nothing. And most of that is the little twigs on it. So that kind of thing, if you're into that, hang around with me. I'm just going to get kind of creative with it. If you're not into that, you can totally skip this and maybe go play with some painting. But for those of you that have gone down this rabbit hole with me and you've got all these scraps, let's jump in and kind of play with some of these. So I'm going to start with some of these slightly larger pieces. I feel like these look like they're about 6 inches. So that's about the biggest size that I have in this little pile. I'm going to go ahead and try to come up with a use for these. I've got a few other little Dollar Tree items with me that you'll see, and I'll kind of tell you what they are as I go. I just kind of surrounded myself with all of the little things that I wanted to get used up, and I'm just going to sit here and play with them. So I've got these smaller ones that I tried to kind of self-contain. And I am thinking if I can find some that are pretty similar in size here. No, that's a little short. Okay, these look like they're going to work. So I am thinking, you guys will follow along with me. Let me see which color I want to do these on. I think I'm going to start with this light colored piece. And I'm just going to sit here and kind of play with my arrangement. I didn't pull any ribbons down for myself, so I really should have done that. I'm just going to pop these in place. These are all just random scraps. A lot of these smaller ones come from when I cut off for my framing. When I frame out pieces, a 1-inch piece is typical for me. So I really have a lot of sizes here though. And I'm just using regular Dollar Tree hot glue to pop these in place. I feel like that looks pretty convincing as a dimensional door, and gosh, that weighs absolutely just nothing. So this is something that I went ahead and jumped ahead and did so that they would have time to dry. But this is some of the Dollar Tree, just their adhesive stick-on pearls. And I took some Waverly ink and painted up some of them to have them dry. And I'm just going to pull one off really quick, if I can. And usually this stuff is fairly sticky. If you feel like you need to reinforce it with some glue, that's fine too. So I'm just going to put the little doorknob there. You could use anything. They have their party beads. For me, I call them Mardi Gras beads. But they have those that you could cut like some of the beads off and have them black and use as a doorknob. Anything small and round like that that gives you a little dimension. A thumbtack even. So I've got just this little branch of something, a little piece of greenery that I'm going to try to bend kind of in a circle. Let's see how it looks wreath-wise. I think I may need to trim down some of this wildness. Kind of like it though. It's a little crazy. It's a little overpowering for my door though, so I am going to go ahead and trim some of this down and kind of get it in a little more under control. So now I've given my little wreath a little trim and kind of got its shape under control. I've got it fairly rounded out, and I used the very last of my Dollar Tree gingham ribbon to make a little bow to go with this. And I'm just going to glue this all in place. And I'm just gluing my bow kind of right where the seams of my twisted little piece met up. And I'm just going to glue this to my door. You could go a little more elaborate with it and decorate your wreath with maybe some little tiny ornaments or something like I'm about to do. I wanted it to be the very last step since I have a real problem getting paint all over everything. So I'm just taking a piece of twine and I'm going to twist it around and knot it up and use this as my hanger. So I've given myself a pretty generous hanger. For me, really quickly, I'm just going to come back in with some of my Waverly Antique, and I'm going to pop some paint on here really quick, just so there's no white showing through if you happen to see this through one of my branches. And that's just enough to keep kind of the illusion from maybe the backside showing through. So my next step is going to be to go ahead and glue my little hanger down. And I need to give this just a second to dry so my glue is going to stick to it. Now it's dry, and I have taken just a little bead of glue, about an inch down, just to give me a generous hanger support there, so that it wouldn't kind of flop over strangely when it was hanging. So I gave myself about an inch and a quarter, and let it dry. Now it's a good sturdy hanger. And the last thing for me that I want to do is I'm going to come in with some Waverly white chalk paint and just a little brush. And I'm going to kind of snow cap my wreath here. I think it dresses it up a little since it is kind of just a plain greenery stem. It softens the look quite a bit. You could also come in really quickly and maybe go across the top of this, the top of your little door pieces, and tap in some snow and kind of make it look like an outside door. I'm not going to do that because I need to be able to set it aside and not get it wet, but I may do that later. So there is another, like I said, these are cutesy ornaments, but these are some fun things that if you're into this craft and you're ending up with a lot of different little scraps, this is something that you could sit and make family time. Yes, they're cutesy, but it's a cutesy way to get kids involved in wanting to play and do. My kids, even as teenagers, still find this kind of stuff cute to look at. They might not admit it, but they'll find this, they'll be like, oh, good job. So, I mean, it's a fun little craft. And I have several others that I think this is all kind of a throwback for me to paper piecing and scrapbooking. So that's where a lot of that influence to want to make little small objects, I think, comes from. So I'm going to come back over here now and see what other pieces I may have going on. These are very similar. I'm going to check on with the width of these. These are very similar. I think I'm going to have a little fun with this and maybe turn this into like a little farmhouse shelf or a little rustic looking shelf unit. I happen to have all of these little pieces, so I'm going to lay everything out really quick. Like I said, I was doing this on the fly and just kind of seeing where the different pieces and sizes that I had led me. So I'm going to play with the size of these really quick. Well, since I'm playing with you guys kind of on the creative fly, I completely switched gears on this one. I saw this little piece and the size made me think of something that I could try with this. So back to kind of these little small pieces. I'm looking to see what I have close in size to one another. And oh, I have a few that are fairly close in size, so that's good for me. Let's see how these work. I feel like that works out pretty even for me. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing these things down. And honestly, you could do with these really kind of whatever you wanted. I do have a lot of the small Dollar Tree wooden pieces, the little wooden sticker ornament pieces that I keep wanting to add to other things, so I may bring some of those in to decorate these pieces. And I'm going to spin around over here. I've got this little guy. Let's see. It is pretty close to fitting. I just need to trim it down a hair little bit. I'm going to flip that over and mark it just like that. And I'm not even using my straight edge for this one. I'm just going to take a little more of my Waverly, tap those ends, and I'm going to glue this little piece right in place. So I kind of want to get it even with that top. There we go. I think that's good enough for me. And let's see where my little pearls are. I think those would work pretty cute for knobs. So I've got my little pearls out and kind of cut them apart so I could pop them in place. And they've got a little paint around them that I can kind of flake off once I can see it. There we go. And that's part of why I just went with black. I felt like this was a pretty universal. I could use it for a lot of different things. So I'm glad I went that direction with it. You could do silver or gray or and still use it probably for quite a few embellishment pieces. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do one in that center one. Flake a little of this paint off here. Oh, not the whole thing, not the whole thing. This is the kind of craft that I do to entertain myself. This is kind of the ones that I do to get that really fun, thinking of all the little details vibe. I'm just having a mess of a time with that one. There we go. I will save y'all and spare you on that one. I'm going to go ahead and get some more twine and do the same thing to make a hanger. This one also, since it is a tall piece, I want to give myself a little length on that hanger and come down on it just to help it lay nicely on those branches. And I'm looking, I have some small pieces here that I'm wondering if maybe I could add. You could always add it that way, and that would almost give me enough width to come in with like one of these little Dollar Tree mini trees, which are absolutely adorable, and set this on top of your dresser. Maybe hang one of the little wooden stocking pieces that came in there, the ornament package, and I do kind of like that, giving it a top to it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this backer on, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm just going to come in with my Waverly wax and kind of just blur that out so I don't have a bunch of bright white shining through, because my tree is not all the way around, but you can see 3/4 around the way mine is set up. So I have to kind of think about what the back side of my ornaments look like too. So I went ahead and took my own advice and came in and added this little extra piece here at the top. Really quickly, before I go any further, I want to try to tap a little paint into those white edges. And I've got my little twine here. I'm going to pop my stream of glue there. Give it a little second so it's not as gooey sticky. And then I'll take that really nice and I can touch it without burning myself. So that's where I am so far. I am coming in with my little Dollar Tree, little tiny Christmas tree. And I was going to bring in a couple other things to show you. These are really cute little tiny chalkboards that Dollar Tree carries. So I see that as being something super, super cute. I kind of did the same thing for myself on a couple of scraps. I just put, literally just put some black paper, kind of cut it down to fit in the center of these couple of foam core scraps. And I came in with a little white gel pen and doodled on them. So I thought that was pretty fun. I'm going to come in and glue these guys down. And when you're gluing on this foam core edge, now one, we've got some wax on it, so that does help protect it a bit. But if you've got a glue gun where you can change your heat temperatures, set it a little lower so it doesn't melt that foam since it's so exposed right there. So I'm just popping that one on there. I think I'm going to pop this little guy on there. Sorry for the extreme close-up. I thought that I would record this a little closer to show some of the details a little more than I usually do. So I'm going to kind of get this popped into place. This thing is still super, super, super lightweight. I'm going to move those little guys. And now I'm going to see if one of my little trees will fit kind of right in between those. There we go. It'll fit. I'm going to put a little hot glue on the bottom of it. Pop that there. And I wanted to show you this really quick. So this was the last little remnant of the tail that I had cut off of here. And that's not even a full bow. It's only like a single layer there that I cut in kind of a bow shape. I added a few little pearls. And all I did to make my fuzzy little tiny stocking here was glue some of this Dollar Tree car washing fuzzy chamois thing onto some cardstock to make it easier. And then I kind of sketched it out and then cut it out and got myself a fuzzy little stocking. So I think I'm going to pop that on there because I feel like that would be pretty cute. Still all super lightweight, guys. Look at that. I think that's adorable. You could always put a base on it. You could use some of the little wood beads and put some little feet on it. But I think it's pretty cute just as it is. So I'm going to jump back into these other couples because while I was playing with this, I had an epiphany that I have not gone in and painted yet. But I am going as I create. So these are these Dollar Tree letters. I am pretty sure that I'm going to go back in and paint these guys and add them to my little fireplace here. And I'm hoping to, I didn't want to put too many of these in one video or make it too long. But I think that I'm going to turn this into a little garland on here, attach them, have them hang down, and I will try to do this little fireplace guy in it, the next little ornament video I do like this. So I wanted to show you really quickly what these all have turned out to be. I'm going to move on to a few more. This is going to be my next one. I already glued these down just to give it a chance to really dry for me so that I could get this part popped on and we wouldn't have to wait for me to do that. And you can kind of see where I'm going with this little guy. So this one is next. There's a lot of potential for this shape and frame. So I'm going to slide these happy friends to the side. Guys, if cutesy is not for you, I totally get it. And it's not always for me. I guess it is. The scrapbooker in me really likes cutesy. I don't tend to decorate with it a whole lot, but I like making it. And one of my kids really enjoys looking at the little details that I kind of managed to put in these. So I've got kind of a little ladder here. I've got a little something going on here. It can be a ladder. It can be signs. It can be just about anything you want it to be. You could turn it into a sled, a sleigh. Pop a little something on there. This really was just a couple of little scraps. I'm going to go in and finish painting this out, but I wanted to show this one really quickly. You could also come in with the same style of these little letters. How cute is this? And pop those down. Make yourself another little wreath like this guy. Pop it right in the middle, which is kind of probably where I'm leaning towards with this one. But that was just another idea that I wanted to throw at you guys. And I will likely be back with more of these because I still have some pieces that I want to play with. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's one of those dress it up buttons. I've had these for years. I have a ton of Christmas themed of these little guys, so I want to use some of these. I've got this Joy one, and there's a smaller stocking. I've got several others, and I want to try to find a way to play with those in here. I know Dollar Tree tends to have miniatures and things in their toy department. They have the 3D stickers a lot of times in their crafter section, because I wanted to show you, this is just a one of those layered sticker things. You could easily just pop some of these, and they have all kinds of different layered stickers and buttons. As a scrapbooker, these are all things that I'm used to gluing on a page, and being able to do it on these lightweight ornaments is really fun for me. So I think that's all I'm going to squeeze into this video, and I will be doing more of these. I hope you enjoyed it. I like this kind of creativity. I like this very detail-oriented type little pieces. So I hope you enjoy these. And if you didn't, you can skip them. For those of you that do, let me know that you like the miniatures, because I am one of those people that I could spend so much time doing these that when I do, and if I do, I will definitely make sure to continue to share those. I know it's not for everybody, but those of you that enjoy it, let me know, and I'll keep doing it as I go, especially when I'm trying to use up these scrap pieces. I will try to start doing these for the different seasons and holidays, because these are so great and lightweight. You could put them on tier trays, and they would be totally adorable for any time of year. And this was relatively nothing in cost. These really were scraps of just everything that I have been playing with so far this year. And I'm really hoping to get more out of this. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Sorry for rambling. This is one of my creative nights. And I hope you guys get a chance to get a little creative and craft some too. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, y'all.